pandemic. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How much of a lifestyle change it had on us? There are goods. People adopted to a healthy lifestyle. They started working out, but right after pandemic was done and people were like, okay, get out of the house, we went back to our regular selves.
I have a theory on this, and it's very important, is lay down with dogs, wake up with fleas. Surround yourself with successful people, come with yourself. So what happened in that pandemic, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever you want to say, we all got soft. We all said, hey, I can't do anything, I'm going to sit back. Well, I'm telling you, I'm 50 years of age. If I took a year off of fitness, I don't know if I'm ever coming back. The whole world took 2 to 3 years off of health.
Yep.
How do you get that back? You don't.
Nope.
Unless you take personal responsibility. I'm Mike Jan Prosnick, and I'm going to do something about it, and this is my plan. Then, this is what I say to everyone, and you're no different than anyone. I'll treat myself the same way. You can talk all you want to talk, but your walk that you want to walk, show me after 52 weeks. Because 1 month's easy, 3 months is easy, but when you have to go through your birthday, a holiday, a crisis at work, a crisis at home, then I know you have a lifestyle. Until you make 52 weeks, you ain't done jack. And that's why stress bothers you, because you have it in the holidays, you have it on your birthday, but you don't know how to cope.
Right.
Fitness and lifestyle should never leave. Never leave. Once you take that away, and I learned this with my wife for life, Elise Prosnick, is she went for a run today and a workout today. You know what I loved about her the most when she came back? Her illumination of her body. The stuff, you could see she was relieved. You could see the stress, the cortisol gone, the dopamine. It was just that moment. Did she want to work out? No. Did she want to run? No. But it's doing what you don't want to do when you have to do it that matters the most.
Absolutely.
Great point, Mike. Actually, let's talk about hormones. We all know there is a chemical reaction that happens in our mind, it happens in our body. We release happy hormones, sad hormones, and hormones are the ones that control our mood. There is a large part that our hormones play in our day-to-day life. Let it be the stress that we are handling, what we call serotonin, dopamine, cortisol. How do you think that these chemical reactions and hormones help us to change our mood? How can we basically take control of those?
So this gets me angry when you speak like this, because the first thing I disagree with, and this is just my perspective, I don't know everything, is that a doctor of medicine is a doctor of medicine, not a biologist. What we're talking about now is hormones. Hormones are biology that your body's built off these cells that regenerate and then they create. With that said, that biology is hack your hormones is important, but the magic pill is not more estrogen for a female or testosterone without loading the gun the proper way.
Right.
So the gun load is, they always say 10% of your success is basically how you load the gun. 90% is genetics, but that 10% can outweigh your 90% easily, especially when you started younger at age.
All right.
So the hack the hormones first, number one to me, is your kids' well-being, is fitness, their nutrition, and then what they're watching on TV. That's hacking their hormones, because then their hormones are strong, vibrant, and ready to be hit with something for acceleration. A human of our stature has been living a bad lifestyle, been drinking a lot, sedentary, and we have to clean out those hormones before we put more in. So hormones are the key. But there has to be a plan. That's what people want to skip. The whole thing is the plan. And the plan, again, is called KISS. Keep it simple, sweetie.
KISS?
Yeah, KISS, keep it simple, sweetie.
Right.
Notice I changed that last word, okay? The key is, if you do the daily, it'll add up in a year, or it won't. In a year, you'll know. The chances are the person will never make a year. That's unfortunate, but to me, I see it as something that gives me value, because I know the average person won't beat me because they're not willing to sustain it. It's unfortunate, but that's because I was taught at a young age through my obesity at 13 about hardship and what it takes, discipline to succeed.
Right.
My kids are at 7 and 10. I want them to learn that a lot younger than I did, but my life changed at 13 for that reason right there. 13 years of age, my life changed totally.
But research shows that our emotional well-being has a lot to do with mental fitness. What is your take on it?
My whole thing is exactly like you said, that mental fitness has to do with physical fitness, because when your heart rate gets up, it's almost like back in the day with primitive, either fight or flight, something happens to the body when the brain gets a certain heart rate.
Right.
And the majority don't get that. So when they get brain fog, they get tired. It's because they're doing less and less and they're going the wrong way. So when I run, and I don't run, I'm a wounded gazelle, but I ran 6 miles yesterday. I just don't stop. The majority will never run 6 miles because their mentality will tell them to stop. So the whole thing is that I look at it this way, I could talk about my analogies. My kids are little frogs right now. They're in warm water. And I put them in warm water, and every day I put the warm water up a little. They don't even know the temperature changes. But if you ever put a a frog in hot water, they'll jump right out. So the whole idea of mental stress is sometimes we think it's hot water and it's boiling when it's not even warm. We just never dealt with it before. Shame on us that, oh, it's not your fault, it's the school system. Oh, it's not your fault, we'll shut that off. Oh, it's not your fault. Everything is your fault. It's just, what are you going to do about it? Now, there's going to be victimization of, I got in a car accident, this happened to me. That's unfortunate. But what are you going to do about it? Are you going to play victim, or are you going to make a plan?
So you say that parents have a lot to do in this entire thing. Parents can help channelize this entire
Correct.
emotional struggle that a child goes through. And fitness is one of the key
Profound.
disciplines.
Profound. One of the most profound things you could do.
And when you say you have to get your child to exercise, does that mean that they have to hit the gym, flex?
No.
What should they do?
So the very important thing that I'm learning, and I study behavior in America, is all kids play sports. Soccer, football, especially in the areas we are, our kids are going to be D1 school, all this stuff. And guess what happens after college, Artie, with their fitness? Boom. They only did fitness because of the scholastic side.
Yes.
So I didn't even put scholastic sports into my kids' lifestyle. I put fitness in first.
Okay.
So that way, when the scholastic lifestyle comes out, and he said he used to play football and used to play college with tennis, I said milk used to be a quarter. Who cares? Which means the continuation is a lifestyle. So that lifestyle has to come before you do travel baseball, travel volleyball. Because then when you get caught up in that life, you're eating worse, you're not exercising. So I disagree with the scholastic sports at that level. I'm different. I'm American, but I don't think like that. I think my kid needs to know self-discipline, needs to work out on himself and get his craft. Now, if his craft is baseball, we'll figure that out when he's 18. But it's definitely not at 8 years of age. That's where we are today. These kids put more money into cleats than they're going to put into their mouth. They're going to put more money into a baseball bat or a coach than they're going to put into their mental health. We got this all messed up. And the unfortunate part is no one wants to revert back to the work. And Chris Rock said this well, like it or not, anyone could have a baby. Cockroaches have baby. But what are you going to do when you have that baby? Your life has changed as a father figure, a mother figure, and you better put that time in. Because before the age of 13, if you don't know this, and your daughter's getting close, you'll have spent half the time with them in their whole life.
Right.
At 13 years of age, half their life's gone because they'll be with their friends, they'll be out living in college, they're going to only visit you. So you only have the direct impact for 13 years, and you're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
Shame on us. And I didn't say it was easy, but don't tell me your kids are the most important thing besides your relationship with your husband or your wife if you're not willing to partake in it 3 days a week, because it's tough. But I know I'll never get that time back with my kid. And that's my dad, mom, a personality that I will not let those 13 years go. And they'll pay off dividends for the rest of my life. But are they hard? Yeah. But are they the best times of the life? Yeah.
It is.
It is.
So just when you see that as a parent, of course I have a teen and you have two boys, when you see that they are stressed, just get them out, come let's go for a walk. Get them that outdoors, get them fresh air, and then come back home and let them continue doing what they are doing. Is that good enough, or do you want them to go for a run on their own? Should a parent accompany them?
At
That is
first,
the
the
question.
parents should accompany them, but then they need to do it by themselves. So I coach flag football for my kid, and I have diversity there. We have girls in there, we have different ethnicities in there, different culture. And once I coach, I do this if there's 11 kids on the team or not. They're not all equal. I don't treat them the same. And at the end of this year, I'm going to show them how they all got better no matter what.
Right.
I treat them like individuals. I'm just that kind of person. But if I ever, and this is my challenge in life, if I ever had that kid in my house, I would keep instilling that time after time. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's like I'm a general. But I'm not your friend, I'm your dad. And once you could deal with me, life's going to be easy because I'm just trying to set a bar of high expectations that equal reality of people that don't care about you. And
Right.
once you could pass that bar, life's easy.
Right.
But if you don't do that, it's down here. And when I do teach these kids football, and I'm saying this right now in front of this camera, I don't teach them football. I teach them how to deal with stress in a daily lifestyle. Because believe it or not, people don't like to be judged out on that football field. And that's just the same thing in the classroom, same thing with looks at a dance and everything else. So if I could bring that out, it's not about sports. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's about lifestyle.
Right.
Parents had that all backwards. All backwards. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm just glad it only took me 50 years to figure it out, not 80.
Very true. And remember those days when I used to come to the gym twice, and the morning I would have worked out, evening I show up again. You would increase the weights.
Yeah.
You would say, drop that.
Yeah.
Pick up. Because you saw that I came again for a reason.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was stressed. And you put that stress, you channelized it into giving me harder workouts, not doing the mundane that I did, pushing me one step further, one step further. And it did help. And when I left the gym, and this is the most hideous thing somebody would say, Mike would tell me, hey, Arti, you're glowing. It made me smile. It did make me smile. And that was the positive energy that you filled in for that day. Whatever I dealt with melted off. And obviously, my happy hormones kicked in. Not even from the workout, just because the release of the stress was there.
We need to figure out how to do that to a 10-year-old, not a 40-year-old.
Right.
And the key is the little victories, like I said, daily. So my kids now, I could pull up how many workouts they caught this year, how many active calories they burn, and it's amazing how it adds up over time. The sum is bigger when you look at the whole than it is that day. And they're astonished. And my mother, who's 78, same way, astonished. Whereas we have other people, not like you and me, that have the ability to do it, they just won't. They won't. They'll talk. And you know why people won't talk to me about fitness? Because I won't let them get away with it.
I know.
I just won't let you. If you're going to talk, you're going to have to back it. And I'll do the same thing with what you want to talk about, politics, relationships. I'm all game. But you ain't coming to my house to give me excuses. I'm going to give you solutions. And this comes from my family. This comes from my friends, or if I just met you on the street. So I just want to wrap this up. The key to me, and this is all I know in my 50 years of life here, was the biggest inspirational moments for your kids' well-being is between the ages of 5 and 13. You've got to put them on some kind of fitness plan for 20 or 30 minutes, not about sports. It has to be about them internally dealing with stress, and it's about their personal time. So they revert back to that in 20 years from then. On top of that, you need to sit and have dinner with them once in a while to talk about nutritious food. And then the third one is gratitude. And if we could do that every day, you could grab onto this, because this world is getting easier. It's not getting harder, but we're susceptible to the marketing, the victimization, and it's not your fault attitude. And that is, there's no one coming for you. There's Boy Blue holding their breath, and no one's going to save you. And by the time, if it takes you as long as it was with Artie and I, and we're anomalies, she kicked the habit. If you ever want to see what she looked like before, she kicked it into gear. She just shouldn't have had to start there.
Yes.
Do you follow me? That's all I'm saying. You learn a lot. The majority will not make it through. The majority won't come in twice a day like you did. The majority won't come back the next day. So we just got to figure out how to make that water boil. without making it as far as too hot for them to jump in.
Right.
And that's your job as a parent. No easy way.
No easy way, absolutely. Just about me.
That's
There
it.
is a deeper meaning to it. That time is just for you. Take the time, 15, 20 minutes. It's gonna help. The one other topic that I wanted to cover with you, Mike, is about the NSSI, non-suicidal self-harm, that is growing with young children today. There is anxiety that builds in them, and the only thing that they could think of is cut, bruise, scrape, punch. That's all they're doing. How can I know a lot of parents are dealing with it, they don't want to talk about it, but I want this show to be educational. How can parents help channelize their thoughts and help their children to come out of the habit of injuring themselves and translate it into putting that energy into fitness and eliminating that habit? What is your recommendation?
Number one is being proactive, so you hopefully never have to be where we're talking about now. Usually, things that become challenges are because we never dealt with them in the past. So, understanding that we were all 13 at one time, we went through puberty, you forget how you felt at that time. It was just not exploited over the internet. So, we all have those feelings. So, don't feel ashamed by having negative feelings. It's not expressing them or acting on them without having open conversations.
Right.
So the open conversations are the difference where I call myself a dad mom. I'm still the dad, don't get me wrong, but I also want to hear my kids' concerns. I might not agree with them, might not go with them, but they have the right to speak. And a lot of times people don't have the right to speak, and that's where the stress gets in them, they want to cut. The other thing is if they're eating better, chances are they're going to be better with their hormones, puberty. Second of all, if they're working out, chances are they're dealing with stress. So there's a little bit more indicators how to relax or take the air out of the tire, if you want to say. But these are all learning tools that have to be ongoing. What they always say is once a cutter, always a cutter, once an addict, always an addict. And that's totally true. I am an addict. I will always be an addict. But knowing that and being humble to say that gets me back to be held accountable.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of anything. And I did a lot of bad things. But by putting it out in the universe, people can't make fun of me no more because I was the one that got it out.
Yeah.
People are ashamed of little things nowadays and they judge it off other people. Once you start giving 100% every day, it is what it is. But the majority, and this is the challenge, and I'll leave you here again, is they're not doing 20%, but they think they're doing over 100%.
True.
So
Absolutely.
I appreciate Artie having me on. I don't know how she shares this content, but like she said, my name is Mike Jam Prosnick. I have an email. I have the Jam Workout website. I do believe in the youth is our future, and I believe getting them early. So if there's anything I could do to meet with your family, help with your kid, my time is free. Your kid's life is priceless. Jam on that.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you
Artie.
so much for coming on to the show and sharing your journey and what you have done to teach your children how to stay fit, how to hack their hormones and be in control, be the boss of their body. It's helpful.
One day when I'm up in the sky with the Lord, I'm looking down. I want to be very proud of those kids.
You sure have to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Have a
Thank you
great
so much
day.
for joining us on this episode of Hack Your Hormones. A lot to come. Thank you again.